It's Friday Night Writes with the Stop Writing Alone community. I'm Nicole Rivera, and I'm here every single week sharing prompts, exercises, and writing prompt parties for you to be inspired for the whole weekend through. Come on in, bring your notebook, your laptop, or whatever it is you want to write with, because as soon as we get started, you'll be inspired to start scribbling away your weekend. Thanks for coming, and enjoy your Friday Night Writes. Welcome to January's Writing Prompt Party, a pre-recorded Zoom call with fellow writers writing on a prompt, on a timer, and then reading aloud. If you've missed this month and want to make sure that you're here for February, sign up for the Friday Night Writers email list in the show description. Here we go.
Okay, guys, so welcome to our Friday Night Writes January writing prompt party. I'm really excited. Thank you guys for coming so that I'm not writing alone tonight. We're going to do a prompt in a minute, and I've had one prompt tool on my mind this week for some reason, so I'll show it to you in a second. But I wanted to make sure that everybody got a chance to introduce themselves to each other, but also to anybody that may be watching. So I'm just going to start in my corner over here. Chris, why don't you go first and let everybody know who you are, who's writing today?
All right. Hi, I'm Chris Granchinsky or Christopher Granchinsky. Um, I've been writing since I was 16, and just this past year, I put out two books. One, Sanchez Finds a Leg, and the other, 50 Ways to Dump the Donald.
Chris, with your books, I will put the links in the description. So if anybody wants to go check them out, that'll be right in the YouTube um, description thing for anybody to go purchase. I have both. I've finished one and have done my due diligence of writing a review. Please remember, whenever we love our writers and their writing, that reviews are like gold. So make sure you review books after you read them. So yeah, I freaking loved Sanchez Finds a Leg. That was just every kind of madness and just, I mean, wonderful, just wonderful.
Thank you.
Okay, so Ariella, you're up next. Introduce yourself to the world.
Hi, so my name's Ariella. I'm coming to you from the Pacific Northwest.
Ooh.
And my main goal this year is to just learn how to come up with ideas that I can then write down. And so I've been following Friday Night Writes to kind of help me with that.
Awesome. Yeah. And that is one of the reasons I love prompts so much, because it's like, it's almost modeling that for you. And after a while you start imagining in all different ways. We will get you there, ma'am, for sure. Love it. All right, Jackie, how about you?
Well, I'm Jackie and I'm in St. Louis. And the first time I can remember writing anything of any significance or note was when I entered a poetry writing contest in grade school. I want to say it was like second grade or third grade or something like that. And I had to write a poem about, it was like a Valentine's poem. And I wrote it about Aphrodite because I figured nobody else would do anything like that. And it blew it completely out of the water and I won. So my very first memory of writing, I won a writing contest. So
Nice.
I think the poem probably in hindsight is pretty horrific. I don't have it anymore.
I just want to say though, in the competition speaking, if you were up against other second graders and you were writing about Aphrodite, I don't think anyone had a chance.
Yeah. Yeah. I wish I could keep that kind of streak going, but we'll see. But I am a professional freelance writer and editor by day and a quasi novelist / short story writer at night. I say quasi because I've finished and published one novel, but I struggle to repeat that. So I have done it and I am continuing to strive to do it multiple times. And I write mostly YA and fantasy, except for when I write short stories for contests that are things like crime capers. So.
Yes, the NYC Midnight Nightmare for us. Yep. All right, John, how about you? You want to introduce yourself?
Let's see. Okay, I've been writing pretty much ever since I could figured out how to push crayons around a piece of paper. Um, and I've got I've a stack of journals and long form writing and stuff as long as your arm. Um, I am I after delving into the corporate world and all that bullshit for a while, I decided to take a miss and like it didn't work out, so decided to take a miss, and I've been a professional freelance writer since 2013. Um, I am therefore a working writer. I set words down on the page for money, which I don't have very much of at the moment, but that's beside the point. Um, I do write short stories and poems and articles and blog posts and white papers and all sorts of shit that because it's the act of stringing words into sentences, into paragraphs, into stories that I love. It's not like any one genre that I favor over any other. So and I've got 2 books in the works that I haven't touched in a while, but there you go.
I love it, John. It's fantastic. So
Thanks.
I am going to it's not the sticks, guys. I'm not pulling out Storymatic. I feel like I give you guys look, Jackie's all disappointed. I give you guys the same thing all the time. For some reason, this book's been on my mind this week. So
The sticks are so awesome, though.
the sticks are awesome. And so we're going to be doing this every month, and you're not getting through the year without the sticks showing up. But I said, let me not start with them because I think I ended the year with them. So we are going to do the amazing story generator, which is like classic prompt. It's going to be a single 1-line prompt that it's not a first sentence. It's just going to be a prompt of an idea to get us started on a story. And I move my clock, so I'm trying to think. So we should be able, we could do like 15 or 20 minutes writing on the prompt. But the way this book works, if anybody, I did show it last year in the writing prompt. It's broken, each page is broken into 3. And so we are going to have like one full sentence when we flip the pages. But we're just going to take the one prompt, and then I'll set the timer, and then we can write. And when the time is up, we will read what we have. So does it make sense? I'll show you an example. We won't use this one, but you flip and then you flip again.
What if we like this already?
Well, and then we can go with it. If this is amazing, they all should be amazing as the book dictates. It says,
Yep. Just say it in the movie guy voice, though. In a post-apocalyptic world.
all right, then Chris, you do it because I don't have the movie guy voice.
In a post-apocalyptic world, a big-time weather reporter befriends a lifelike android.
Oh man, that's actually not too bad.
I'm thinking that's actually working.
That actually could work. I mean, with this book, it's a real roll of the dice. Sometimes it is not connecting in any way, shape, or form. That all worked pretty well together. I'll put it in a vote to the room. Do we want to do a post-apocalyptic world? Big time weather reporter befriends a lifelike android, or do we want to roll the dice and see what happens next?
Curtain number 2.
So go with this one. Show of hands. Who wants to go with this one? Oh, you guys are risky. Oh, wait. Okay. I see one hand.
Like that.
We're going to roll the dice.
Okay, go. You guys
Say
get
goodbye.
that, but it's all on the men in the room.
Say goodbye. You've been warned. It could go really, we could be struggling now. I'm going to go deep in here. Let's see. I'm going to do it like this. You guys aren't going to see. Okay. Right. Okay. I don't know. Do we want to do movie voice again?
No.
While suffering a crisis of faith, an injured alien challenges a rival to a duel. I'm kind of feeling that one a bit more.
Well, this is it. This is the one now. So everybody write it down. While suffering a crisis of faith, an injured alien of your creation challenges a rival to a duel. Jackie, did I just see you type it in the chat for
Did,
me?
but I missed the S on challenge. So
Okay, we'll get it from there. Thank you very much. All right, guys. So are we feeling 20 minutes?
are we feeling like running away from?
Right. Well, that's this book can do that. I'm always worried I'm going to get the clown. I think like the first 2 times I used this book, I got something with a clown, and I was like, why do I keep pulling it open at the same thing? So I'm just happy there's no clown involved here, because I didn't know what to do with that guy. All right, I'm looking at the time. Yeah, we can do 20 minutes, and then what? We have 5 readers now. We might have
Quick question.
Yes, ma'am.
This isn't like a line. This is just
For this
the
book and this
concept.
prompt, this is not a line. It's not the first line. It's not like you don't have to incorporate this. This is just our premise. So you just have to have an injured alien who is suffering a crisis of faith, and then he's going to, or she, or something else, I don't know, pronoun of choice, challenges the rival to a duel.
Okay.
Is everyone ready?
Mhm.
All right. I'm going to do 15 minutes. And then if you panic when it goes off and it's like, that's not enough time, we'll discuss them, but we'll start with 15 and see how it goes.
Ready.
All right. I'm going for my timer. I didn't set up my cuckoo timer. So we're going to old school it with the phone.
Old school on your phone?
Old school smartphone. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's 2021 now. This is old news.
We're supposed to have timers implanted in our heads,
exactly, right? All right. Good luck, everybody. That was the end. How did it go? Did we get to an ending now with your 5 minutes? Jackie, you're looking at me like that wasn't 5 minutes. You lied. You're lying to me.
I've got to type one sentence.
Okay, typing one sentence. Ariella, how did it go?
Pretty good.
Excellent. Good.
Yeah.
That sounded confident. Yeah, for sure. Chris, how about you?
It's okay.
Really?
Better than what I had.
For as I started writing, I was like, I'm really curious to see what the heck Chris is going to do with this. John, how about you? How did it go? I'm trying to unmute you. It's not letting me unmute you. Maybe you.
Yeah, I got
okay,
you. Thanks.
Got it. Okay, awesome.
Yeah. It just said the host wants you to unmute, and I'm like,
oh, okay. So I can do it. Gotcha.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, it was okay. I find that I am quite a bit rustier than I thought at doing timed events and stuff like that. But and also at writing short stories, I'm rustier than I want to be. But I'll keep doing this with practice.
Right, and I think that's really what it comes down to. It's like the first time, anytime I take a break from it, the first time I sit down to do it again, I'm like, wait, what happened? But it's like riding a bike. Yeah, I use the very overused phrase, but you get into the groove. But it does take practice. And it's also a question of like, is that the skill you want anyway, right? Do you want to have the time to write? And that's a great skill to have without pressuring and having a timer on all the time. Like what I mean to say is that I don't think like not having that quickness of writing skill is like a must have for all writers anyway. We can allow ourselves the time and patience to sort of work through a story at our own pace.
And at the same time, limitations often make for better writing. So
and that's why I'm always here.
right.
Because I love to have, word count limitations or time limitations it's an exercise, right? And so even if the story in and of itself is not like the one that we love, the exercise of putting ourselves through whichever limitation is going to benefit us in the end anyway.
Yeah, and honestly, I just want to work the muscle. It's like ideally I'd like to get one short story a week written or whatever. But at the same time, more important than that even is just working the muscle.
To get that writing in. So do we have any volunteers to read what they wrote for? Let me just recap. We had, while suffering a crisis of faith, an injured alien challenges a rival to a duel. No volunteer. Does that mean I should just go first?
I'll go first.
No, you should pick. You should use your magic random device to pick somebody to go first.
Oh my goodness. That's going to put my teacher hat back on. Wait until I get the popsicle sticks. Look out. I used to put all of my students' names. Every student had a popsicle stick, their name on a popsicle stick. And I would go into class with a cup and I would randomly select. And if you answered, you were out of the cup for the day. Good for you. But if like you were like not paying attention, you got to go back in. You never know.
Oh
You
yeah,
come back out again.
that's kind of brilliant. I love
It
that.
was wonderful. It really, and it was like no guilt. It's not that I'm picking you in the back and it's like, oh, evil Mrs. Viana or Mrs.
Right,
Rivera,
right.
whoever I was. It was the sticks. It wasn't me.
You can
So
blame the
Chris,
sticks.
I did hear you volunteer. I'm going to let you go with that. Are you good? Do you want me to press pause or are you good to go?
No, I'm good to go.
Okay, great. I'm going to mute to make sure. Can everybody just mute? Because I think that helps the sound for Chris when he reads. So I'll mute myself. Good luck, Chris.
Telmark was supposed to be on Mars. The ship had said he was going to Mars, that Mars was straight ahead. The ship had told him that it would be a smooth landing. He was going to land on Mars, it was going to be easy peasy, and he'd be the first being to live on the red planet this century. The ship lied. It wasn't the first time the ship had lied to Telmark. The last time, it had told him that humans were basically friendly, happy-go-lucky. The ship said that was the way humans talk, people. As they chased Telmark all the way back to his ship with flaming torches and shotguns, Telmark screamed, "You lied, you lied, you lied!" Sorry, said his ship. Telmark believed the ship was sorry and forgave it. As the ship shattered around him on Mars, Telmark could only think about that time on Earth. And now Telmark was sitting in a pile of sand, his arm broken, hanging like a cheap piece of string. He could feel his anger getting the better of him. "Gordon!" he shouted at his ship. His ship was named Gordon. Gordon stayed silent. For a brief moment, Telmark thought Gordon might have been destroyed in the crash. Sure, the body of the ship was in pieces, but Gordon was, and at the same time wasn't, the body of the ship. He was the ship's essence, the ship's soul. He was the ship, and he transcended the ship. Gordon was playing possum. "Gordon!" Telmark shouted again. "What?" the ship said cautiously. "Is this Mars?" Yes. "Mars is red, Gordon," Telmark shouted. "This is sand, Gordon. This is brown sand, Gordon." "Sorry?" Gordon said. "No," Telmark shouted. "This is the last time. Your final lie. A duel. I challenge thee." "Are you out of your mind?" Gordon asked. "In case you haven't noticed, you have a broken arm, and I'm in pieces." "Don't care," Telmark shouted. "A duel. I've challenged thee, and hey, what's that sound?" Down the beach came shouts and chants of, "That's him! Get him!" Telmark facepalmed with his good arm. "Not Earth again," he said as he rose to his feet and ran.
That was awesome. I love it. I love it. I love Gordon. I love the ridiculousness of challenging a whole damn ship to a duel. That's ridiculous and fantastic.
And this is why some people can write comedy and some people cannot.
Right. I mean, comedy is so hard. It's true. And you just come off with it like that's not a hard thing to do. Because I've been down that road of being challenged to write a comedy and it nearly imploded me. Because I was like, I don't know how to be funny.
So I'm curious, what was your process like once you had that first line or whatever, the challenge after a while suffering a crisis of faith and injured alien, blah. Once you had that, then where did you go with that?
Well, I just kind of figured that, like this is a lone alien who's out like joyriding the galaxy or whatnot. And so he doesn't have anybody except for his ship with him.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of, well, who's he gonna duel with?
So you got your alien first. Your
right,
cat,
yep,
your
I got
protect.
my alien first. Yep.
Do you find that that's typically how you enter a story? Like you get a protagonist, you get like, or do you get? I mean, I guess we kind of gave you the scenario, so maybe.
Right.
Yeah.
It depends on whether I have a title or not. Usually a title will cue me, but if I don't have a title, then it's kind of, like where do I start? And like with this, it was the alien is going to come first, and then we're just going to figure it out from there.
It's
Very
funny
cool.
because my story is similar. I mean, it's not, but I kind of, it picked up sort of the same sort of starting vibes.
Neat.
It's
Very
kind of
cool.
weird.
Does that mean that you want to go next, Jackie?
Sure,
Would you like me to pause or wait
Yes,
till
please.
later or pause?
Please.
Yes. Okay, here we go.
Hi guys, it's me, Nicole, and I just wanted to let you know why I was offering to pause the recording while writers are reading their work. It's been a long debate in the back end of Stop Writing Alone. I've talked to a bunch of writers about how they feel about going live with their writing on YouTube. And there was kind of 2 points of resistance. One being, I don't want my raw work, really, really rough draft to be out there, seemingly forever, where I don't have control over where it is, when it is up and when it is down. And then the other point of resistance was, will this be counted as published? If I ever want to submit this story, will I be sort of eliminated from any publication that says not to submit if your work is previously published? I couldn't answer that question. So I wanted to leave that door open for any writer that didn't feel comfortable for whatever reason for having their writing shared on YouTube, but still wanted to share it with the group while we were recording. This is why, actually, this is not a live stream. That was the original plan. And it really just came down to this makes the best sense for everybody who wants to participate. So I wanted to put a note about that in here. This way you knew why I paused when Jackie was reading. And also to let you know, just in case maybe that's the reason you didn't come this month. And I wanted you to know for the rest of the year, that'll always be an option. The videos will be pre-recorded on a Zoom call. And while we're recording, you can either opt, of course, not to read at all, or to read to the group and pause so that it is not recorded. And of course, the other option is you could read it, record it, and then decide, as we're leaving the call, hey, Nicole, I know I read it and recorded, but could you do me a favor and just edit that out before it goes to YouTube? That's fine as well. This is your work. I just want to support you in it in whatever way makes the most sense to you. So we're going to head in to hear John's story now, but I just wanted to give you a note about why I was asking about pausing and how that may affect you in the future if you want to join us for a writing prompt party. Let's give it over to John.
All right, John is up next.
All right.
What do you
Okay.
need?
So while suffering a crisis of faith, an injured alien challenges the rival to a duel. Blah. Okay. Story starts. Stand down, Herketh. Stand down. Herketh, stand down. But Herketh kept coming. One after the other, his steps fell, implacable and murderous. Herketh, please. I only had one trick left up my sleeve. I knew Herketh was injured, and he didn't know I knew. Under different circumstances, it would have been a fatal injury. As it was, though, Herketh's perambulator wouldn't last. The crash of our ship had seen to that. Section. Ma, what's that up? What's that up in there in the sky? Jody pointed to the night sky. Ma kept her nose in the cloth she was embroidering. It's nothing, Jody. Don't you worry about it. But Ma, Jody's eyes grew larger as the speck grew to a mote. It quickly became a smear of pink, bright against the night, blotting out the stars. The smear resolved into a physical object that Jody had never seen before. It was wider than it was tall and pointed at either end. Silvery pink in color, it seemed to be spinning in place. As Jody stared and pulled at Ma's sleeve, the object landed. Or rather, it crashed, throwing a gout of dirt over the small house. Moo! Protested Bessie, their prize cow, as she sailed overhead. Section. Herketh, are you all right? I stared at the pilot, my multifaceted eyes adjusting to the new frequencies of light. Herketh groaned. I groaned too. If he didn't recover, if we didn't fix our craft, we'd never get off this rock. Yes, Sobra, I'm fine, he said. I was not convinced. Herketh levered himself out of the seat. I saw the damage had been done, though. And that's where I ran out of time.
I mean, the names are great. You had Herketh and was it Sobra? Who was the second one?
Sobra, yeah.
Sobra. Bessie. I mean,
Yeah.
come on, amazing.
Right.
And also your that you have sections. I mean, I think that's really where it comes down to, right? That you really shot high in terms of the time that you
Oh,
said,
yeah.
okay, I'm going to do 2 different sections and come at it. So those are the types of things that I think when we're on a time limit, it's like, how do we do it? But you did really great. I mean, the only issue is that you're not done, right?
Right, right.
But what you have there is really great and also comedic. I mean, what's going
Yeah.
on? These guys got comedy in their pocket, like no problem.
No,
I'm not jealous.
when NYC was coming around, I was terrified. I mean, as much as I'm having troubles with Crime Capers, I was terrified it was going to get comedy. And when Jennifer got it, I was so relieved I wasn't her, because I would have just given up. So
Well,
I'm jealous of you guys.
something happened to me. I don't know if it was in the fall. There was a time this year where I had this recurring dream of being stuck having to do a stand-up comedy bit. And I woke up so frustrated. And I said to my husband, I'm like, I don't know how to write a joke. And he's like, okay. Well, I'm like, no, you don't understand. In my dream, they keep putting me up on stage and I keep trying to think of a joke. I'm spending all night trying to come up with one funny thing to say. And so I sort of became obsessed with this idea of like, if this ever happens to me, what's the joke that I can do? And then I did the NYC Midnight. I think it was Flash. It was one of the really short ones. And I got comedy. I'm like, you have got to be kidding me now. I actually have to write a freaking comedy. And so it was torture. It was torture. I did not get to the second round. But I
Yeah.
think my story was kind of funny, but obviously not as funny as some of the other people that were in the competition.
I think if I sat down to write comedy, it
Right.
wouldn't work out too well.
It's really hard.
But I do like to inject like comedic bits
Right.
or elements.
Yeah, I think that's it. It's like I can offhandedly slip into something maybe if I'm like in the groove, but to be asked, that was the horror of the dream. It was like, go up there, be funny. And I was like, now? Like now you want me to be funny? And it was horrifying. I mean, really, I feel it. I feel like I'm back in it.
Yeah.
So good on you with Bessie. That
Thanks.
was good. That was quality comedy. I like it.
Thank you.
So Ariella, would you like to go first? Would you like to go last? What is your
I'll go now. Next.
Okay. And do you want me to pause or do you want to continue recording?
You can leave it on.
All right.
All right, I just gotta check a message real quick. Okay.
Exciting.
Okay.
Oh, I'm gonna mute myself. Go ahead.
Here we go. Something went wrong. The ship was out of control, spinning and spiraling until it crashed on the closest space form. The normal buzzing of lights and engines all went black and silent. The spaceship was totaled and partly buried in the ground that it landed on. Eventually, the pilot inside gained the strength and wherewithal to open the door and see where they had crash landed. They tumbled out the door. Thankfully, they were wearing the right gear for the atmosphere, but their legs didn't seem to be working right, and they weren't quite sure where they were. Trying to stand, they thought, God damn it, this is my 5th crash landing this month. What am I doing wrong? This was their 20th year on the Space Exploration Force, and without exactly knowing why, their performance had taken a deep dive down. They were a decorated explorer. They've flown this ship 1,000 times. Were they not keeping up with technology changes? And then the dreaded thought surfaced. Was it time to retire? They quickly shoved this thought to the back of their brain and focused on trying to stand. They shifted their weight one direction and then the other. It was a struggle, but after some forceful grunting and a sudden push of the arms, they were up. All right, they thought. Now, can I walk? They took a tenuous step forward. There was hope, but the second step brought pain. Before they had time to process and decide to keep walking or to lay and surrender to retirement, they heard the familiar sound of a spaceship gracefully whirring down for a perfect, non-injury-inducing landing. They recognized that ship. It belonged to their arch nemesis. Well, this is just great, they thought. The arch nemesis came out of his ship. You better get back in there. I was here first. the space explorer yelled. Yeah, barely, replied arch nemesis. This lit a fire under space explorer. They weren't ready to give in to retirement yet. Want to settle this the old-fashioned way? They said.
I kind of love that.
Always great. Always
That's
great. And
awesome.
everybody was on ships. I don't think I'm not on a ship. This is great. That
The
was
only thing that came was like, how are you going to get injured in a crash? Obviously.
right. Everybody's got the what was that, Jackie?
I was like, everybody had a crash or had some sort of malfunctioning ship or something.
I think what's funny is that you all tried to explain the injury, and I don't think I did. I think it just was an injury, like it just happened. So, and Ariella, I'm now I can't remember what it was, but you also made me laugh in there. What was? Oh, the 5 crash landings.
Oh,
yeah.
I was like, that's
That
good
was
stuff.
awesome.
That's good stuff. And resisting the retirement when you're crashing
The
over
5
and over.
crash
it's like-
landings.
that's the crisis. Like, you know, the horrible decision of life.
The 5 crash landings this month. That
This
was
one-
awesome.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
I just
That was-
liked the arch nemesis, which could have just been you didn't have time to come up with the name, but I liked it because it was still there. And it was just sort of like, he doesn't need a name. He's the arch nemesis.
right.
But yeah, I was
still,
like, I have 15 minutes. I don't
Right.
know names like that.
My name's
I
Saul.
still, although I agree that like naming is like super hard and shit. Like I have a bitch of a time with naming a lot of times, but I think it might have worked better had you named at least one of those characters.
Yeah. It's I have named for one other person, but I don't think I ever named my protagonist. That's a thing when I'm rushing. It's like sometimes my protagonist is like, because so often I write in first person that
yeah.
it's, you know, we're here and they don't get a name until like a rewrite. So, but I did want to comment also that your the description of the second ship coming in was such a brilliant like intro, you know, like that to say, oh, we're not gonna like this guy.
Yeah.
He flies way too well.
The arch nemesis. Of course
Not
we're
our
not.
right. Like that was a great arch nemesis intro, even though the guy didn't do anything wrong except land a ship. So again, like there's that the whole thing had like a little comedic flair to it. So great job,
Thanks.
everybody.
Thanks.
All right, I will read. I don't know why I did this to myself. I wrote in orange pen. So wish me luck. Here we go. So, I mean, the handwriting's one thing, but then you pick orange, Nicole. Okay. All right. 3 lifespans of no snow diamonds on Ceres should have been enough to lead all Cracklins to know the Great Watcher had abandoned us. But the tribes were committed. I stayed in Urg City under cover of my title, having been teacher of the way since my rebirthing. But this latest blow, the limping of my reaching tentacle, drove me out of my drove me out of my cover. I spoke out against the law. Jurgon witnessed it all. He would call me to the tribunal. I wouldn't be able to hide for long. I would be the latest victim of the severing, both physically and socially. First, they'll take my arms. Then they'll cut me out of this world. I would be sent to Haumea, the atrocity of ovalness. There was only one recourse. I must face Jurgon myself. Unable to use my reaching tentacle to call to him, I used my puller, dragging his consciousness out of his study across the room. He was rereading the chronicles. It's all he ever did. Such a pissant. His eyes snapped up one at a time, easily finding me before reaching me in fury. What is it, doubter? Would you like me to school you on the way? It's too late. No, Jurgon, this is a duel. Let's begin, I projected. We flew to the center of the book room, levitating above the Urg dwellers below. We wrapped our tentacles around one another and created the squall of philosophy, debate, and physical squeeze. Either of us could have been the victor. No one below had to know the issue at all. Oh, the issue. It all could be settled, or I could explode into nothingness, either to meet my maker or confirm my doubts. I began to root for the latter when Jurgon exploded, raining down on the crowd below, all who cheered for my victory. while I sank to the ground in doubt-filled despair. It's really weird.
I'll give you that.
I dove deep into the weirdness because I could not define my alien. I was like, we got a tentacle. We'll have more tentacles. So,
There's never just one, is there?
right, exactly.
To make it an outlaw, and then
And then I'm done.
There you go.
And then I'm done for this weekend. So yeah, so that is the amazing story generator, guys. It leads to weirdness. At least for me, it always leads to weirdness. I don't know if it's because it's just this one line, but how did you guys all feel doing this story this week?
I kind of love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I told you that the writing prompt parties could be fun.
It's great. I mean,
You weren't wrong.
It's what's really interesting is like one of the things that I always pitch is like, oh, you got to see how everybody comes up with something so different. And this week there were so many similarities. I'm like, wait, what happened? Which may be because we had such a limited prompt. I don't know. I literally don't know what caused it. But it was really great. I loved it. Good stuff, guys. So, what I wanted to ask you is if you guys, I mean, I know Chris, I'm going to put your links in the show description, but if there's any links that you guys want to share that you want me to put in the show description for you, you can throw them in the chat and then I can copy paste them.
yeah.
So if you have like a social media or a blog or whatever that you want people to find you, we can do that. But I am so excited. You guys did awesome. And we will do this again next month. But next month will be the 4th Friday of February. That's probably going to be the last Friday of February anyway. I just don't have my calendar here to tell you what date that is, but I'll send out the email again with the link. And was this I mean, I'm guessing it was a good time for everybody that's here. But would earlier work for anybody, or was this decent?
This is fine. It's fine with me. So.
Okay.
Yeah, it works for me.
Okay, cool.
Works for me. And the 4th Friday is the 26th and the final Friday.
Yeah. Short month. I figured it probably would be the final one. Yeah, I don't think I have to worry about my poetry and songwriting prompts for a little while. It's going to be a tiny challenge for me, but I'm looking forward to it.
I wrote a poem today.
Did you?
First one.
Awesome.
Yeah, first one I had written in a while. So
very cool. What inspired you? Were you or
sorry?
Did something happen that triggered it, or did you read
Sort
something?
of. I'm on Insight Timer, which is a
yes, we love Insight Timer here.
And they've been doing a I forget what it's called exactly, the Mindful Mornings Challenge, where different people tell you about their morning routines and they do a meditation or whatever.
Cool.
And and the one for today, I've been doing it all month, right?
Yeah.
And the one for today happened to be by a writer, and she's a poet that lives in California, and she's published and blah blah blah. So I kind of, and she was going on about how I love the mornings and I love greeting the sun and yada yada, and I'm like, you know what, I don't. So I'm gonna write about that.
Oh, fun. Awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So yeah, it was.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, that's the thing. Like I show up with like, preformed prompts and everything, but like life is prompt filled, right?
Mhm.
And for those of us reading the listening path, like that's what it's all about, right? Paying attention, tuning in for that reason. Well, guys, thank you so much. I had fun. I want you to go have a wonderful weekend. And then next week, I will have a different writing prompt tool. Now I'm wondering if this is what I had lined up for next week, and maybe that's why it was on my mind. We'll see. I don't know.
For the writing warm-up,
oh, sorry.
I needed a warm-up for finishing my story.
I think me too. I was feeling like, oh, this might be a mistake. I'm going to get all my writing juju out before NYC Midnight. But I think this sort of just smacked me out of all of my ergs. But yeah, John, what was that?
Do any of y'all know about any, like this thing happens once a month, right? And I'd kind of like to do it a bit more often than that. Do y'all know of any other writing prompt things or
like a live?
It doesn't really matter. I don't know. I don't really have a sense of that. But like I said the other day, I've been looking for writing groups and stuff.
Yeah, Jackie, what's Tammy doing? Is she giving prompts right now? Brightwiser or
I have to plead the fifth. I haven't been paying
okay.
attention. I
If you
think
check out
what's going on.
Tammy Brightwiser, she's an accidental inspirationalist. I believe that's her website. If you're on Instagram, she's Inspire Tammy B, and that's Tammy with a Y. I know at one point she was doing a lot of prompts, so she might be doing that. Thank you, Jackie. Jackie put her name in the
Oh,
chat.
I can tell you that she's not doing prompts right now. Right now,
Okay.
she's doing like every Tuesday she's doing a Zoom chat about like creativity.
Okay.
So there's like a couple of weeks ago there was going from not being published to being published, and this past week was about submissions.
Right. Yeah.
And
Those are is that the push groups, Chris?
yeah, that's the push
The
group.
push
Yeah.
groups. Yeah.
I haven't
Okay.
been able to attend, but I've been trying to, but I haven't been. My schedule's not working out.
Yeah,
Mm.
sadly Tuesdays don't work out for me to do anything in the afternoons or whatever. But
I'll
'cause
keep my
I've got
eye
a-
out,
yeah.
John. I'm trying to
great.
think if I know anybody else. I just remember Tammy had been doing that. And then, it's just like not that time of year. It seems like there are like these waves where all of a sudden like everybody's doing prompts all of a sudden, and then it's like, who do I choose? But right now I haven't been seeing too much.
Okay.
But we can always throw in prompts, like I said last night. We can always throw prompts into the Stop Writing Alone group. Anybody want to do some prompts? I need a prompt. I'll grab Storymatic or I'll grab the Writer's Toolkit and give you a prompt.
Yeah,
okay,
I mean,
cool.
absolutely. Yeah, if you're not looking for a live thing, I got them coming out all over the place. So yeah, if you want me to throw one up, I can do that. And I think that would be great for everybody on there too that doesn't, come to these events.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, that's a decent idea.
Cool.
Oh, and I just Nicole, while I was looking for the link to this group, which I didn't have prior, I did reach out to you on Facebook, friend request or whatever, so we can keep in contact on Messenger or whatever. I use that.
Cool. So. Perfect.
Right
That's
on.
fine. Awesome. All righty, guys.
All right.
Well then, have a wonderful night, wonderful weekend. I will see you guys soon, all about in the internets. Thank you for joining me.
Thanks, y'all.
Happy writing.
Bye.
Yes. I got to go right now. Good night.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Well, I want to say thank you to all of my participants this week, John, Jackie, Ariella, and Chris. But I also want to thank you for watching, and hopefully you got some writing done along the side as well. Please subscribe, like, share the video, and don't forget to visit stopwritingalone.com for podcast episodes, other YouTube videos, and signing up for the Stop Writing Alone email list.